So, continuing my path down 90s neo noir, today's film was Alex Proyas's Dark City, specifically the director's cut, which apparently the director's cut moves the exposition from the beginning to later in the film where it makes a lot more sense. So you're not spoiling what's happening and you actually have a mystery for the bulk of the film. And it also expands a few scenes and tones down the music a little bit. So I have not seen the theatrical cut, so I don't know what people saw when they saw it in 1998. But what I did see was a very good neo-noir sci-fi German expressionist homage. Prior to this, I think the only Proyas film that I've seen was I, Robot, and I actually saw that one in theaters. But I'm hoping to watch The Crow soon, so I'll get to The Crow before it expires on Filmstruck. Dark City, obviously, I rented the DVD. You can get the director's cut on DVD, on Blu-ray. I think you can rent it on the internet. It's widely available. I actually spent weeks trying to rent this movie because it kept being checked out. It is that popular here in Atlanta. It stars Rufus Sewell as a man who wakes up in a hotel bathtub, cannot remember anything, saves a goldfish, and then discovers a dead body and is like, oh fuck, what's happening? He gets a phone call from a doctor, played by Kiefer Sutherland, who tries to help him, but he's so confused that he's like, I don't know what you're talking about, and then is chased by a bunch of men in weird dark outfits. Later, you find Jennifer Connelly, a nightclub singer, who discovers that her husband is missing. She talks to a police investigator, played by William Hurt, who's investigating the murder. He has discovered that her husband is the one who was in the hotel room. Rufus Sewell discovers his name by going back to the automat where he left his wallet. Eventually, he gets back to his wife, but he's being chased by William Hurt, and then he has to run off, and he has these strange memories about a place called Shell Beach. What is Shell Beach? How do you get there? Eventually, you discover the secret of Dark City, why it is always dark, who these people are, why he has amnesia, why they're chasing him, why he has maybe telekinesis, all kinds of things. I don't want to spoil it because I actually didn't know anything going into this movie other than it was a sci-fi noir, and I think that was a good thing because I was like, what the fuck, the whole time, which is great. I always appreciate that in a movie. So definitely go in if you haven't seen it not knowing anything, and I think you'll enjoy it a lot more. It is it has aspects of neo-noir, or aspects of noir. A man with amnesia, being chased by could be the mob, but also being chased by a cop. You have a psychiatrist. You have a torch singer. You have all kinds of things. And the one thing I really think worked would work if it were a B noir, in that Rufus Sewell is not really a lead man. He doesn't have the oomph to carry a $30 million movie, which is probably why this movie didn't do very well. Part of the why he's not really like a star. But if it were a B film, if this were a B film, and this feels like the plot of a B film, it'd be fine. Like the lead star of Detour, or some of those other films that have major B actors as the lead and not, Humphrey Bogart. Although a lot of noir does have Humphrey Bogart. But this feels more like the kind of film. Actually, a lot of aspects of it reminded me of Detour, to be honest. Except Detour was like the ultimate B film, and this is like a $30 million, giant sci-fi film. So that's unfortunate. Jennifer Connelly is great. They have her styled beautifully. William Hurt is fantastic. I particularly liked Kiefer Sutherland. His character is based on a real psychiatrist who wrote, what is it? Where'd it go? Oh, I lost it. Anyways, he's based on a real there we go. A German judge, there we go, who wrote a biography while having schizophrenia. So that was interesting. I'm going to sneeze. Oh, God. What else? It looks like a living Edward Hopper painting, which I always love. I love Hopper. What else? This came out a year before The Matrix, and it has a very similar sort of feel to it, except The Matrix was mostly hard onto the sci-fi, and Dark City is sort of a mixture. And they really explain why it feels so out of time and not quite the 40s and 50s and not quite the 90s and not quite anything. It all gets explained, and I think very eloquently. It's beautifully shot film, gorgeous sets. I really enjoyed it. What else do I want to say about it? Oh, the opening shot is a giant homage to Metropolis. If you're a big fan of Metropolis, you're like, I see what you did there with those cars. What else? Mostly, I just think you should go into this completely blind and not know what you're getting into other than a good sci-fi neo-noir. I think a lot of these sort of movies that are uncategorizable are best left to just discover and wash over you. And unfortunately, that's not how this industry works. And they want films that they can sell. And when they don't have films they can sell easily, it's hard to sell them. And then it's hard to get butts in the seats. And people are afraid to go see things that don't look like they, doesn't look like you know what's going to happen. And there were a bunch of these in the 90s that came out, The Matrix and City of Lost Children and a whole bunch of sort of uncategorizable, sort of not apocalyptic, but dark sci-fi, and this is a great entry in that. So this is Alex Proyas's Dark City from 1988, and I recommend it.